Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you are going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The first message that I have for you, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I see you are staying in the East. We recently bought a house in the East, and this house that we have bought, Brother Nash, we are regretting because of some of the things that are happening. And me and my husband right now, we are stuck with this house because if we have to resell it, then we have to put up with all the fees, in which some of the fees we have not yet finished paying some of the fees, and we are regretting totally. So this is what happened. Me and my husband, we had been scouting for a house, and the place where we wanted to buy a house, there was a lot of crime that was happening. Then my husband then said that since financially we are now stable, maybe we should go into the gated communities. We then started searching for a house, and then we bought a house here in Johannesburg, but I can't tell you the place where we bought that house. So from the day that our agent told us that there was a house that she had gotten for us, I just had a bad vibe about it, because when I was fast asleep, I just saw myself, I was being chased by short boys like little tokoloshis. And I even told my husband the next day, and I did not know why I had such a weird dream. Then 2 days later, we had a meeting with the estate agent, and then she took us to the house. When we arrived at that house, I felt like there was something that was crawling at the back of my neck. I was really scared for no reason at all. The house is very beautiful, and it is a double-storied mansion. When we got inside, I was already imagining how I was going to design my house and how I wanted to keep it nice. And as we were moving around the rooms, I felt something that moved, and I told my husband that I felt a movement. So I screamed. Even the estate agent, she was shocked because of the way that I screamed. And my husband, he just held my hand and he whispered, he was like, "You are now embarrassing me in front of the white people." But I felt something that was moving in my body. We looked at the house. Even when we went upstairs, it was even more scarier than when we were downstairs. I then told my husband that we should look for another house, and my husband was like, "We are already at the advanced stages. We cannot let this one go." And then we proceeded with the purchase of the house. Fast forward, we were supposed to move in. So the day when we went there, the house was not empty. The people were not there. The couple that was staying there, they are from Zim. So the house, it had nice furniture and everything. The day when we were supposed to move in, there was a bit of a delay. So we got to the house, and that was the first time that we had a one-on-one with them. We saw them. They were a very friendly couple, and it was all nice. But after they had moved out, we then moved in. I don't know if we made a mistake by not praying for the house first or what, because as for now, I don't even know what else to do. When we moved in the first night, I could not sleep. So I thought that, when you are moving from one house to another, you will always feel fatigue, you feel tired, and it is so tiring. The whole night, we moved in by 5 p.m. All the things were inside, at least indoors, and we had not yet unpacked the things. But we ate and we rested, we bathed, and then we went to bed somewhere around 8 p.m. I could not fall asleep. I tried everything, but I could not sleep. And then around 3 a.m., that was when I started to drift away just a little bit. And then I started to hear that there was someone that was walking, but this person was walking towards our bedroom, and the door was open. And when I woke up, I got the fright of my life, because my daughter, she was standing by the door, and she was holding her doll. And I asked her, baby, what is wrong? And then she told me that she is unable to sleep. And I said, since what time? And she said, even when Tabo went to bed, I was just telling him that I can't sleep, and he just gave me the tablet and say, play games, you are disturbing me, I want to sleep. And I was like, so since that time you are awake until now? And she was like, yes, mommy, I can't fall asleep, can I sleep with you? She then climbed into the bed. She was shaking, but she was not cold, but her whole body was vibrating, like she kept on looking around. And I asked him, what is wrong? But she was just shaking. Even my husband said, there is something that is wrong with our daughter, what's going on? Like she was traumatized, like she saw something that is terrifying. To this very day, my daughter is no longer that bubbly person, and she wrote something on the wall that we could not understand. And she kept on writing each and every room. She would write a different letter until we started to piece all the pieces together, and then we saw that she was writing ancestors. And now we don't understand why our daughter has written ancestors, and we really do not know what to do. We tried to speak with the agent. We did not tell her that there are some weird things that have been happening. No, we did not tell her that. We just asked if we can be able to communicate with the previous owner. So we have been told that they have migrated out of South Africa. They are no longer in South Africa. And wealthy people, like, they are said to be very rich and they are very private, and we don't think that we'll be able to get their contacts. So we are here. I'm here on behalf of my family. I just want advice. What are we supposed to do? I've been thinking about just risking and just we sell this house, even though it is going to affect our credit profile. But this is what I have been thinking about. It's so scary to be in this house. I have broken almost all of my plates, the most expensive ones, and I'm the one that break them each and every time. When I am the one that is about to do the dishes, the moment that I try to put things into the dishwasher, something just happens, and it is always the dinner plates. I always drop the dinner plates and they break. Ever since we moved in, I have broken almost 18 dinner plates that I have broken. And I don't know if this house is haunted or is it me that has a problem. When you post, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. I just need advice. What do we do? The pastor came to our house, and after the pastor had prayed, it was a little bit better, but it got worse. I always have sleep paralysis. When I am in the bedroom alone, I can feel that there is something that will be in the bedroom with me. I can even panic and run out of the bedroom and run downstairs where my kids will be watching movies. Still, when I am in the bedroom right now, the design that I had in my living room, it was a nice design. Now I have my couches right up against the wall. We used to have the couches in the middle of the room, like a modern design. But when I am sitting on the couch, I get scared. I feel like behind me, there is something that will be moving. So now I made a funny design. Even my husband was like, this living room of yours now does not make sense, because all the couches, they are right up against the wall, and it's not a nice design. I have tried to buy some other things so as to crowd up the whole living room so that the design can be a little bit better. But even when people come to visit, especially my friends, those ones that will tell you, they'll be like, this design is not make sure. So I need advice. Am I the one that is imagining things? But if I am imagining things, why did our daughter write ancestors? And why was our daughter shaking, and she is no longer that bubbly girl that she used to be. She is always on her tablet. She does not speak to anyone anymore right now, and she sometimes scream out loud if she wants something. Instead of communicating, she will just scream, and you have to guess what she wants. Please assist me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with her in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Then there is another message that was sent to me by our dear brother. The message that he sent to me, the narration, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean man who once went to South Africa, and when I was in South Africa, I nearly committed suicide. And when I was about to commit suicide, that was when I called this other old friend of mine, whom I knew very well that he was a ritualist. So I spoke with him and I told him that this was what was happening in my life, and he was like, okay, no, do not worry. I'm going to make a plan for you, but you need to return back home. Before I had ever thought of becoming a ritualist, this is what I used to do. When I was just struggling, me and my wife, we were happy, but there were times when things got so bad, so much that my wife ended up becoming the breadwinner. When she got the breadwinner, that was when hell started in my marriage, and she ran away with the kids, leaving me stranded. I used to be an illegal gold miner. So being a gold miner, you're always part of a syndicate, and there was this other guy that was my friend. So all of a sudden, we started talking about the way that the situation was very hard. As we were working, we were not getting enough. All that we could get was money so that we can buy food. And he told me that he had heard about this other traditional healer that can be found in Mozambique, and he wanted us to go to Mozambique. And I was scared. I said, no, I do not want to go to Mozambique. And he then said, it's fine. He then went to Mozambique, and when he came back, all of a sudden, he started sponsoring other illegal gold miners. He bought a brand new car at a dealership here in Harare. Very expensive, the car it was. And whenever I would go to him to ask for money, he would be like, I can't give you money, because if I give you money, you will come back and you will ask for more money. And what I'm going to do is that I just want you to stand up on your feet so that you can do your own thing on your own. So, Brother Nashim, that was when I said, I cannot do this. I can't go to a traditional healer because I am a Christian. Even my wife, she said, no, we can't be chasing after traditional healers because we are Christians. It is better that we die of poverty. So this man, he started making a lot of money, and I continued with my life. I made sure that I was no longer close to him because I saw him as the devil now, since he was consulting with traditional healers. Fast forward, I then got sick. After I had gotten sick, my wife was now the breadwinner. She had never worked in her life, and she started working in a saloon. She started drinking. She would go to parties with her friends, and she told me that she had this other woman whom she used to work with, who was now working in Johannesburg at a certain hair salon. So she wanted to migrate from Zim, and she wanted to go to South Africa. I then said, oh, well, it's fine. She then went to South Africa. She left me, and there were times when I would go for days without eating anything because I was unable to work. I was sick. And the lucky part was that my landlord, I used to work with him. He was also an illegal gold miner, so he understood the situation because I had water that was inside of my lungs. I was unable to do anything, and I had contracted this disease when I was underground. So he understood my pain. He had spoken with his wife, and he had told his wife that the little food that she could cook, she was supposed to give me something, but it was not always that they would give me some food to eat. So after I had recovered, I had to beg my wife so that she can send me some money and I can join up with her in South Africa. She then sent me some money, and that is how I came to South Africa. When I came to South Africa, I really struggled to get a job. My wife was the breadwinner, and we would fight each and every day. And I found out that she had a boyfriend, and there was nothing really that I could do about that situation. So I was working in the construction industry, and my boss, sometimes he would not even pay me, and this would bring more problems into my marriage. My wife then started to speak with her ex who was overseas, and then they did an arranged marriage. That man came and they did a court wedding. I did not even know about anything. I only got to find out after I started to read some of the papers that she had when she was applying for the visa, and I saw that she was applying for a spousal visa. I then asked her, how was she applying for a spousal visa, because we were not yet legally married, and then she told me that they had done a fake marriage. I was heartbroken. I spoke with her relatives and I said, but this is my wife. How can she be married to another man? And they started to ignore me. They started to fight with me and my wife. She ran away. She went to Europe with the kids, and her entire family, they turned their backs on me. Even my own relatives, the ones that I used to support when I was still okay financially, they all turned their backs on me. The day when I wanted to kill myself in South Africa, I sat down and I cooked some pap for myself, and I took some red poison and I put the red poison into the pap, and I said that this is the day that I am going to die. What can I live for? My wife is gone. And when I was about to eat the pap, that was when I said, let me just say goodbye to my best friend. I called him and I told him that it was time for me to die. He said, no, please, before you do that, let me send my driver. He had his own friend who was already here in South Africa. So that man then sent his driver to come and collect me. And then I was given some money and I returned back to Zim. They dropped me in Beitbridge. On the bus I went and I came to Harare, and I went and I visited my friend. He then said, before you think of killing yourself, how about we go to Mozambique? So we then went to Mozambique and we went to a village that is in Tete. I was assisted by a traditional healer, an old lady that is in her 80s. So this traditional healer, she has a private part which is in between her breast. Between her legs, she has nothing, but her private parts, it is in between her breast. So what you do before she assists you, you kneel down in front of her, and then you will start to lick a private part until she would have ejaculated as a woman, what they do. And if you fail to make her orgasm, then she won't be able to assist you. So I knelt down in front of her and I licked until she reached climax. And then she spoke in Portuguese because she does not understand Shona, and she told her assistants that she could now assist me. A dish was brought before me, like a metallic dish that we use when we are washing hands before we eat. It was brought before me and I was told to look into that dish, and I saw that there was water, and I saw that my wife, she was with her new husband, and our kids were busy playing out in the snow and they were busy enjoying, and I was told to stab my kids to death, and I was told to break my wife's legs and as well as to stab her new husband. And then a couple of days later, when they were driving, she was the one that was driving, they had an accident and there was a truck that crushed them. My wife was the only one that survived that horrific crash, but she is now in a wheelchair. She will never be able to walk ever again in her entire life. That is the first sacrifice that I did. And then I started to sacrifice my own relatives so that I can get money by the mines. Currently, there is this other woman that I am dating because I was given a snake. So this snake, it survives by eating the wombs of women that I will be sleeping with. She does not even know that she is like a sacrifice to me. The boys that work for me at the mine, they have this spiritual strength and they can work even 24 hours without resting, it is because they would be assisted by the snake that I got from Mozambique. This is my own confession. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Can you imagine? Hey,